The home empty, the fire tonight suspicious. The scenario nothing new for investigators in Jacksonville. ABC News Channel 20's Kimberly Howard has more on the latest string of arsons that has investigators and city officials frustrated.
This charred home you see behind me, really the perfect example of what the city has been dealing with. Investigators say nobody was living here, and it is now the site of a suspicious fire.
A lot of firefighters and a lot of smoke and fire.
It started with a phone call from a watchful neighbor.
My dad called and said the neighbor's house was on fire. And this is the fourth one on this end of town, so I hurried up and rushed over here as fast as I could.
But the job of firefighters had really just begun.
2 rooms and part of the roof was fully involved.
No easy way in.
Found that the doors were kind of barricaded on there. There was stuff behind them like tires and things like that.
It took 2 hours to put out that initial blaze before it rekindled and forced crews back into action.
It looks like it was started by one of the windows in the room, and probably just in the debris that was there.
Police say the man who lives here has been behind bars since February, and while investigators initially thought electricity was running through the home, they later realized that wasn't the case, and that changed their thinking as to the cause.
It is going to be labeled as an arson.
And as people who know this area well will tell you, not the first.
Back in 2007, we did have a few, we had an arsonist in town that had set fires, and it wasn't just in that area, it was all over pretty much town.
But firefighters say the majority of Jacksonville's abandoned homes are in this northeast end of town, which is why investigators say it's a hotbed for criminal activity.
We have had several of these similar type fires in the past couple of years. So it is concerning to us.
Officials say abandoned problem properties can be demolished by the city, but it's a process and it's expensive. Regardless, police say fire is never the way to clean up the neighborhood.
It's different if it's unoccupied rather than occupied, but you know, arson is the classification, of course, would be a Class X felony, and there's serious consequences. I think the sentencing ranges from 6 to 30 years.
No one was hurt in this fire, but the investigation continues. Investigators are trying to figure out if any sort of accelerant was used. In Jacksonville, Kimberly Howard, ABC News Channel 20.
Tonight, investigators are hoping somebody in the neighborhood can provide the break that they need in the case. So they're going door to door, asking people what they saw, what they may have heard, and if any might have security or hunting cameras that may have captured the scene at the time of the fire.